Robert,
Yo, what's shaking AC?
you know what's shaken or what's not shaken?
What? Oh, no way. Is it chilled? Please tell me it's chilled. Delicious.
I have been saving this for a special moment.
Oh, no way. This is a special moment?
Yeah, we're ranting. So I'm going to drink my Control V brew. Anybody that's just listening and not watching, I just cracked a Control V brew
Oh, wicked.
and tasted it. And so that's why I don't know if you noticed what color I'm wearing.
Oh, Control V blue.
Yeah.
Control V blue and the Control V brew.
Yeah, I'm going to taste it again. It's quite delicious. It's got like, is it like a nutty flavor? How do you describe this?
It is an ale, which means it is a red beer. I
Mhm.
find that there's a lot of stouts and lagers and IPAs and sours out there, but I personally prefer red beers. So
Okay.
I did some tasting and I found an incredible red beer, an ale, and I said, this has got to be the Control V beer. Bada boom, bada bing. Next thing you
And
know.
so that's amazing. And so I've been saving it for one of our rants, and I know I'm way late to the game. All the cool people already posted about it, but I also like to sometimes, be fashionably late.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just thought I'd give you a shout out for this Control V brew. Should I keep drinking it while we're ranting?
Absolutely, absolutely. And thank you for
Okay.
that shout out. I honestly don't even know what to say. You've stunned me because I came into this rant so hot and heated about a subject. I was just going to break the internet. And now I'm like flattered. I'm like, what do I
I
do?
wish
I'm
I
so happy now.
You have one in your fridge behind you?
No, I don't. They're all at the office.
Okay,
I'm
at
not
the
I'm not at Control V where I currently
at
am.
the arcade, right?
Yeah.
Office. Okay, because I'd love to give you a sip, but I can't because we're on Zoom. Okay, what do you want to rant about?
Oh boy. Well, like I said, I'm not angry anymore.
The anger went away. There's nothing to rant about. Well,
Well, listen, I got an idea. I got an idea.
okay.
So I was looking at a roster of various industry-based conferences, virtual reality, location-based entertainment, that sort of stuff, because that's the industry that I play in. And I was debating going to some of these conferences, and I was wondering, okay, there's all this value from networking and all that sort of stuff, but let's look into the education because that's what I desire. I love to
Yeah.
learn more. Um, and I started looking at the conferences and the speaker lineup, and they were all very, very notable speakers. And I was like, oh, cool. I'd love to hear about that. I'd love to hear, like from that person, from that person. And then I looked at the subject, and I thought to myself, how in the heck is that person talking about that subject? They aren't even in that industry. They have no experience in it. They're in like a sister industry or whatever, right? Like you'll have somebody who's talking about hardware, virtual reality hardware, telling you how to build a good VR business model, like an arcade model. Like
Yeah.
you guys have no idea. Like the vast majority of VR hardware gets sold for pennies online because they've overshot the mark and they're doing the wrong thing. So my problem here is conferences and how like people who are not qualified are often talking about things that they people think they're qualified just because they have notoriety. Do you experience that as well?
Don't get me started. Here we go. Maybe I should take another sip of my V brew so I can calm down. Um, oh yes. This is I think it's kind of the $1 million question in a way because I do sympathize with the conference organizers that they think that putting certain people on panels that have the name or come from the brand or have the story is the best thing to do, and because it's going to attract the right people to show up, which in theory I guess that may be true, but then the content can be terrible sometimes because those people, oh my gosh, it makes me cringe when I'm at a franchise conference and I hear somebody on the panel who I know, from either experience in the past where they told me about their system or whatever it is, where I know there's all kinds of trouble and disgruntled franchisees, or, I know that they haven't implemented the things they're talking about yet, these things. And so I'm on a mission to try to convince, nobody wants to listen to this though, but to convince, let's just say the associations, that they need to rethink who they're put, not just the associations, but it's harder with associations, I think, than some of the other conferences out there. But to really see that, like, who you're putting on the panel, it's I guess what I already can hear the objection though. The objection is, well, what if then, if we don't put somebody that's notable on the panel, then nobody will show up to that panel. And so
Yeah.
I think it's more in the marketing of like the content. What do you think? What do you think they should do about that?
Well, I started thinking about Pizza Hut, okay? And Pizza Hut was the place to get pizza, right? And as other pizza places came around and they started to provide better quality pizza or more options or more of what the consumer desired, and Pizza Hut just Pizza Hut just stayed stagnant, right? They started to crumble quite heavily,
Mhm.
because their product, like people now saw through it. When they only had one option to get pizza, this is where I'm going to get pizza. Now that I have other options, I'm going to start looking at the product itself. This is the same thing with any type of business, right? If I'm running a virtual reality arcade and I'm just putting crap out there because I'm the only one in the industry, then when somebody else comes around, people are going to get wise to it. So when it comes to building a conference, I get that it's a business. You have expenses and you need to bring in revenue, right? And your revenue is going to be driven by people's belief that these big names are going to provide value. But when people start to realize that they don't provide value, they're going to stop going to those conferences, or they're going to go to the other conference where it's more aligned, right? And so the people putting on these conferences need to start thinking not just about the financials, but as though it were a proper business and they're trying to cater to their consumers, right? Otherwise, they're running on borrowed time.
So they should be thinking with a longer term mindset
Yeah.
of
Well, I
like,
mean, everyone should be thinking with a longer term mindset, but like,
right.
you know, it doesn't have to be a notable name. It just has to be somebody who's going to deliver value. Maybe they're in that industry or have had experience in that industry. That's what's so critical. Like, I'll tell you, it gets fatiguing going to the same AI presentations and people who like know less about AI than I do, and I don't know very much, are teaching. I'm kind of like, all right, I'm going to stop going to these.
Mhm. Yeah, it is interesting how somebody can suddenly be an expert. Here's something I would like to see that people on these panels would be more honest about what they've screwed up. I think there'd be a ton more value in even for them to say, quite frankly, we are trying to figure this out right now, but here's our situation. And here's some things we're trying, and here's some things we have tried that have worked, and here's some things that haven't worked. I think that people, well, and I don't think I can 100% guarantee from my experience with the AC roundtables that continue to run every week that people, one thing that people really want is to feel relatable to, like, they want to feel that they can relate to the person on the panel. I also think that maybe there's a miss on the marketing of it. And, if you have to use a name to draw someone in, are you like, it's just, are you sugarcoating it? Like, maybe you can better describe what they're going to get out of it. Okay, so you don't know this person on the panel, but this person is an expert on these things. And if, however you need to market that to describe that and explain that, and here's the key learnings and all that. But I mean, I think AC Inc. is a really good example of that. When it's funny, when I first started AC Inc., I was like, do I need to get people that are in franchising on the team that everyone knows? And ironically, no, did it the other way around. Got people that were, in franchising. When I said in franchising, I mean well known. I got people that nobody knew, and they're rock stars. I'd
Hmm.
rather go for the quality over just the name. And then one last point I wanted to say is, do you think, I don't know how much time we have left here because we like to keep this not too long, but do you think that these conferences need to have the big wow splashy Simon Sinek, Gary V, big splashy expensive speaker on the stage at the beginning? Because I personally, that is not why I go to a conference. I go to a conference for the networking.
Yeah, I think they do need that speaker if the rest of the conference is junk.
Well, they up the ante on the other parts. Do you think
Yeah.
they need that? Because that brings up the price, right?
Yep.
I don't want to pay $4,000.
All right, let's wrap it up, AC.
All right, fine. You count, I'll drink.
All right, three, two, one. Go be awesome.